This is Joy News, and today we've been blessed to have one of the finest political brains in Ghana, especially when it comes to the workings of Parliament. He's been a majority leader and minority leader as well, and a foremost leader in the MPP and also Dr. Bawumia's campaign. And we're here today to pick his thought on what's happening to the MPP and also Ghana in general. We're blessed to have the man Osei Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu with us today. Good day, sir. Trust all is well.
Well, sometimes we pretend to be good, but I guess today, basically I can say to myself that I'm not doing too badly.
When do you pretend to be good?
Because you have to impact on others, and you cannot appear to be sickly or not, in the usual elements when you encounter people.
Okay.
You will negatively affect them.
Okay.
So you try to look good.
Okay.
You try to look
always.
Always.
I mean, I've heard people who say you've done marvelously well, especially when it comes to Ghana's parliament and its development, because you were in the House from 96 rather.
1997.
1997, yes.
January.
And then you left in 2024, January, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, do you miss Parliament?
Well, human as I am, if you are in an enterprise for 28 years, continuous years, and you leave, even though it was on your own volition, occasionally you look over your shoulders and it's like, if I were to be there, what would I be doing in the face of these developments? Okay. So occasionally you miss Parliament, but because you've straightened yourself up and because you gave it up on your own, really is not a pain in the heart, but sometimes you miss Parliament.
Okay. Looking back,
yes.
How do you rate your contribution to parliamentary development in this country?
Well, it will be self-serving to answer this question.
Okay. Because
you'll be beating your own drums and be dancing to your own tunes. It's for others to assess you. I think that what I can say is that I did my best when I have the opportunity, and for chroniclers to really juxtapose my own performance in Parliament with others, and then to see whether I performed very well or maybe perhaps excellently. Okay. It's for others to judge.
But is there anything, if you look back, if you get the opportunity, you would have changed?
You mean recent developments?
No. I mean, if you look back to your stay in the House.
Right.
Are there things, if you are given another opportunity, say, to look back, you say, this I would have done differently?
Well, the structure of our parliament, a few things ought to be set right. Ghana's parliament in Africa, I think, is just one of, is the only one in Africa whose speaker is not a member of parliament.
Okay.
But I think that the time has arrived for us to do serious introspection and to have our speaker as a member of parliament, because otherwise you have speakers who will be detached from parliament and whose purpose will be to pursue their own path. Oftentimes it may be self-serving and it may not really relate to developing parliament, and I think it's not the best for us. I don't know from where we inherited this. Of course, at the time of the independence, we had this bequeathed to us. But I think the time has arrived for us to do serious introspection on that. I spoke to the Constitutional Review Committee on this. That we should change it. It's served to stabilize our nation, our parliament for some time. But I think the time has arrived. Let's make that bold decision.
But that would be, because a lot of people say in any future NPP government, you would have to be Speaker of Parliament. So if you are making this argument, that's sort of blocking your own opportunity of becoming Speaker.
The evolution and development in Parliament should not be personalized.
Okay.
It should not be personalized. If you want to develop Parliament, right, to the extent that we want to have our Parliament grow, it should not really relate to whether a certain Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu becomes a Speaker or not. So let's detach that. Do we want to develop our Parliament? Do we want to uplift our Parliament? If we want to do that, one of the things that we should be looking at is really what I'm canvassing.
Okay.
So that's something that we should look at. Again, another thing that I think we should be looking at is really, and again, this one I made it to the Constitutional Review Committee, that we should detach ministerial appointments from Parliament. So if you are a member of Parliament and you are appointed a minister, right, you should leave Parliament.
Oh, so that's coming from your recommendation?
Yes, you should leave Parliament. You see, we are pursuing this presidential system. In a presidential system, properly so-called, you have ministers who are technocrats, who are appointed by the president to add value to governance.
Okay.
In the Westminster system, practiced in the UK, Canada, Australia, India, and so on, you have members of Parliament serving as ministers, and all ministers come from Parliament, just as happened when Bawumia in the Second Republic was the Prime Minister. The advantages of the two, if we pursue them vigorously, in the Westminster system, where all ministers come from Parliament, before you become a minister, you would have served in a committee for a while, maybe 2, 3 terms, perhaps even 4 terms, before your party assumes the reign of government. You would have been a member of that committee, risen through the ranks at the committee level to perhaps become a shadow minister, okay, what we call ranking member in the presidential system. So you see, he may not be a specialist in that field. He may not be a certified professional in that field. But then, because he's been there for a long time, there's nothing that he doesn't know in that sector. So almost invariably, automatically, when his party assumes the reign of power, he then becomes the minister responsible for that sector. In the presidential system, as I said, you have a situation where the president is elected. He doesn't appoint ministers from Parliament. He appoints them from outside, and all of them are technocrats. They add value to government and to governance. We have a hybrid, but you have ministers who are appointed by presidents who are not specialists in the field. They have not even served on a committee in Parliament before, and from nowhere they are made ministers. Which is why at the appointment committee, when fundamental questions are asked of them relating to the sector, they will tell you that I'm not there yet. Please, you let me go there. When I go, I will learn. And yet the Constitution provides that the minister for that sector is supposed to advise the president and also help the president to evolve policies for that sector. If a person going there is so naive, how is he going to assist the president in evolving policies for the sector? It's one of the reasons why we are not growing as fast as we should be growing as a nation. And that's why I'm saying that I think that there should be a complete departure. We should detach ministerial appointment from parliamentary appointments. And many people are coming to Parliament now to use Parliament as a springboard to be made ministers. If he's not made a minister, more or less he withdraws from Parliament. And it's not good for the evolution and development of Parliament. And I think we should go that path. Concomitant with this, then, would be a president appointing a person to a sector as a minister. You are interrogating that person for his proficiency in that field.
Yeah.
Thereafter, he's appointed a minister, let's say to energy. Then 1 year thereafter, he's shuffled out and taken to agric. He doesn't appear before Parliament again. Nobody knows his proficiency in agriculture. We are inflicting this on ourselves. Right? Yeah. The person may be ignorant in the field, just for political convenience, he's taken to another sector. How is he going to help to evolve policies?
So your proposal is that even when there is a reshuffle,
the person should come back to Parliament.
Okay.
In the US, there is no reshuffle. Because you are appointed to a particular place on account of your proficiency in that sector. If you go and you're not performing, the president takes you out, brings another person.
Okay. But in this proposal of yours, the committee recommends that even if you resign from Parliament, you cannot be called to be part of the government until the expiration of that particular government. That in the committee's recommendation is that the president should not appoint a minister from government.
From Parliament.
From Parliament. And when you are an MP and you resign, you cannot even become a member of that government until the expiration of Parliament.
Well, I have not read that portion with the clarity that you are giving me. Because if, let's say, there is a renowned economist, the president looking outside is not finding anybody. He thinks that this person is the best for the job. He appoints him, the person resigns from Parliament, and they are saying that even if he resigns, he cannot be part of the government. If he appoints him, the person gives us his parliamentary position, and there should be a by-election. So he cannot come to Parliament, right? He gives up the parliamentary position. So he can't come back to Parliament. If he accepts it, then he elects to serve in the executive. Right? And that is how it should be.
But others have argued that this system will prevent a lot of fine brains from going to Parliament.
Why?
I'm looking for a minister, and that is why I'm in government. I'll not file to be MP.
Are you saying that the parliaments, whether at state level or at the federal level in the US, is depleted of the parliaments are depleted of fine brains? No. You see, what's the business of a legislator? To legislate, to oversee the government. These two, arguably, are the greatest functions of members of Parliament, right? So, but then of course to approve of agreements and so on and so forth, representing your constituents, the representational function, and so on and so forth. Those are the functions of members of Parliament. If you distinguish yourself, you could perhaps become the president of the country in some time to come. In the US, presidents are, apart from the current president, right? Most presidents are either governors or congressmen, because that's where the business of governance is learned. You don't just come from anywhere and then you are made a president. You mess up the country. I don't want to say that what is going on in America is America is being messed up. I don't want to say that. Somebody said, I'm not afraid, but I fear small. but many Americans would attest to the fact that what's happening is not the best. Right.
So you're thinking that if the committee indeed proposed that one cannot resign from Parliament and take a position in government, they should have a relook at that particular proposal.
If that's the recommendation, then they should have a relook, because I don't think that's the best. If the president thinks that maybe this is the best person to be made my minister for agriculture at this time. Unfortunately for the president, the person is a member of Parliament. You have a discussion with him, and if he agrees to the position to give up, what it means is that the person was not in the first place minded to be a career parliamentarian. Because no career parliamentarian will give up the post to go and serve for 4 years, and if the person doesn't win, then you are left in the lurch. No.
Did you make such a suggestion to President Akufo-Addo when you were the majority leader then?
Well, we had, at Akufo this time, we had this constitutional review committee that we established at the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs.
Yes.
And we did considerable job. I think the Professor Kwesi Prempeh's committee will attest to the fact that what job that we did perhaps cannot be surpassed by any other body or committee that had done, including President Mills's own committee that he established. Ours was comprehensive. I dealt with the various clauses, beginning with the clause 1 to the last clause of the Constitution. So it was comprehensive and quite voluminous document that we produced, which President Kufuor handed over to President Mahama. So that was it. You remember President Mahama in setting up this committee, he even mentioned the work that had been done by Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, by Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu's committee at the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. We availed the report to Professor Kwesi Prempeh, and my own perspectives I also brought to bear when they engaged me.
Okay. So when you look at the committees, what they've done, what's your view on it?
Well, as you are bringing this up, let me say that I have not had, because of what we were doing, I have not had the opportunity to really go through the entire document. So I'm not in a position to critique it. What I've heard from some people is that many of the recommendations that we profit, that the committee that I established profit, have been taken on board by them.
Okay.
Yes. There are so many things that we need to do to really...
Does it include the extension of the president's term?
The president's term?
Yeah.
Well,
what did your committee propose when it comes to the presidential term?
Well, what we did was, I think we maintained the status quo.
Okay.
Even though it came before us. Some people suggesting that the 4-year tenure was inadequate for a president to translate his ideas into programs and projects and get them off the ground. So maybe we should extend it to 5 years, 2-term, 5-year durations. And then there was this proposal that, look, if you want to have a president really distinguish himself or acquit himself creditably, you need for him to stay for a longer period, maybe 7 years. But if you have to do a 7-year period, then it have to be just 1 term. You do a continuous 7-year period, you go and... But then the others were saying that, okay, if you have president 7 years and maybe he's lost touch with the populace, people don't like him, his ratings have plummeted, people want to see his back, and yet he's inflicted on the country for 7 years. That could be a problem. So eventually the committee decided that the 4-year duration, that the status quo should be maintained, which is what was passed on to Professor Kwesi Prempeh's committee. But then the various options, as argued, we also availed to them.
Okay, all right. Let me take your point on, or your thought on, the minority's performance. You've been a leader of the minority before. What do you make of what the minority in the House is doing today? I mean, they stand in for your party as well in the House.
I think it's a difficult question in the sense that I've been a minority leader for 8 years. I've been a majority leader for 7 years, 2 months. And, passing comments on their performance will be a bit prejudicial.
But are there other things you wish they could change?
But let me just say that they are doing their best under very difficult circumstances. It's like the era of 1997 when we first came to Parliament, and the size of the MPP at the time was less than 1/3 of the House. When we first came, the 200-member chamber, MPP, our size was 61. We transacted business with some other minority parties, the CPP, PNC, and I think there was one independent candidate. who joined us, and that took our number to 67, right? Just one more than the absolute 2/3 for the majority at the time. Today they have the 2/3, and the MPP alone is just as we were in the 1997 Parliament. It's a difficult enterprise, and at the time we had a speaker who had, transited from the PNDC, Jasanan, who was effectively the vice chairman of the PNDC, having become the speaker of Ghana's parliament. He was walking a very tight rope. He tried to balance things, but I would say that at the time it wasn't the best. For instance, because our number was 1/3 of the House, even speaking turns in Parliament, he let it reflect. So he will call 2 members from the majority and call 1 member from the minority, which is not the best. It doesn't obtain in other parliaments, but that was what he did. Until Alajete replaced him. Alajete said, no, the best experience is to allow 1 person from here, another person from here. Even though we outnumbered NDC at the time. But Alajete said, for best practices, let it be 1-to-1, which is what has really obtained as of yet, and I think is the way to go. We have worked to, in some jurisdictions, the committee systems. People just look at the experience of persons in Parliament and make them chairmen of committees. Our own had not been like that. Our own has been according to numbers. And then all committees used to be chaired by the majority party in Parliament. Learning from best practices, we said no, that is not the best way to go. So yes, we use the numbers to accord chairship to the groups in Parliament. However, there are some traditional committees which should be chaired by the majority party. For instance, no government will want to share foreign affairs, foreign policy with the minority. You cannot say that foreign affairs committee should be chaired by the minority party or the minority group. So, foreign affairs, to some extent, finance, even though finance could be something else, because when we went to France, for instance, we saw that the chairman of the finance committee in France, in the Parliament of France, is from the minority party. So I asked the question, why? They said, well, finance is the fulcrum of all activities, and nothing should be hidden from the opposition party, which is why the chairman of the finance committee is from the minority. From the minority group. So I'm saying that at least in the example of France, the finance committee could even go to a minority party. But generally, though, finance committees are chaired by majority parties. So you have finance, foreign affairs, defense and interior, 2 critical committees, or if they are conjoined, as they are conjoined in our part, they should be chaired by the majority. And foreign affairs I've spoken about. Perhaps local government as well. And because of the issues relating to labor, it is said that the committee responsible for labor should be chaired by the majority. So about 5 prominent committees. Then thereafter, the remaining should be shared equally between the groups in Parliament on account of their numerical strength. Fortunately, because the current speaker, Speaker Bawumia, was part of the evolution process, he agreed, and so we're able to fashion these things out at his period when he was the Speaker of Parliament the first term. So he concluded and got everything on board. I think December December 2023, but effective January 2024, which is what we did. So that is what obtains in Parliament today.
Okay. Now, during your time in '97, you had J.H. Mensah as your leader.
Yes.
If you compare to what he did then to hold you together to ensure that you exact the accountability you needed, what would be your advice to the leader now in terms of what he can do to ensure the minority exact their accountability of the government?
Well, I think that the committees now, because we have a very small minority group, there's limited space for them in the area of the committees. But yet you want to put your best foot forward. My advice to him, which I've shared with him, is to try to put our best foot forward, right, on the committees, so that you have people who will be able to articulate the positions of the party and indeed of Ghanaians, as when it becomes necessary to do that education. The press conference organized by, I guess, the MPP caucus on Agri Committee, and it was led by the member
the ranking of
Offenso South. He used to work at I think Cocoa Research, and then he was a representative of Cocoa Research on Cocoa Board. A very competent person, and his articulation on cocoa issues was superb.
Okay.
Right, we should put our best foot forward in the various committees, so that we'll have the best of the minority in these committees to reflect the concerns of Ghanaians. So that is what I would suggest. And also, the leader should create space for the various ranking members and committee chairs, those few of them who chair committees, to be able to be engaging the media. And because once you step out there into your constituency, you're a member of Parliament for, say, Tafo or Suame in Kumasi. Once you step out there, you are supposed to play the role of a generalist. You're supposed to know everything in Parliament. So every now and then, they'll be sharing information, right? Cross-fertilizing ideas and so on, so that when they go out there, they'll be able to talk to issues from a very informed perspective. And that will really lift up the image of the party. Okay.
What do you make of the struggle to change the leader?
The
struggle to change the leader.
Is there a struggle?
Oh, we've heard of several rumors of what is going on to have him changed. You've suffered that fate before.
Well, I had to step aside because of some cumulus clouds that were gathering. And as I indicated at the time, I didn't want to be in the eye of any storm. So I stepped aside honorably, because I could see, some contrivance coming from some quarters. And I thought if I stayed, it was really going to lead to an implosion in the party. So to save the party, I stepped aside. I don't know what you are talking about, that people are agitating for the...
I'm sure you know much more than I do.
Honestly, no. Honestly, no. And I spoke with the leader, but he called me, and the past few days we've spoken about 3 times, and he's not even giving me any slight hint that this is in the offing. Let me indicate that when the day of the declaration of the result by the Electoral Commission, after the voting on Saturday, after voting in Kumasi and observing the conduct of the elections in a few constituencies, I came to Accra to be part of the declaration. And we saw ourselves, he and I even walked out of the stage together. I went into my vehicle and he went into his. And the indication was that we should be meeting for some discussion. And as I said, I left to Kumasi just the following day with a few things that I needed to do. And I was also going to celebrate my birthday with my constituents and a few friends. I came back just 3 days ago. And in Kumasi, we still engaged.
Okay.
So it's not told me that.
Okay.
If there are some rumors outside there, honestly, it's not come to me.
Okay. You told my colleague Emefa at the T some time ago, when you had done that research that you led,
Right.
that you spoke to some barbers, passengers, in terms of what they were looking for in a flag bearer. Does the election of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia fulfill what those barbers and the people you spoke to told you of who they were looking out for to lead the NPP?
I think what we did, the committee did, our performance in the 2024 presidential and general elections weren't good. We're not good enough. To be honest, if I should own up to it, it was abysmal. So we went out there to interrogate, those people, the ordinary people, what went wrong, to learn from their own perspectives. And then what they expect from the next flag bearer. So those were things that I spoke to. First of all, latterly, some people were saying that we lost with Bawumia because of his ethnic background, his religious background. People were saying that. Of course, let me also say that that was palpable untruth. The investigations did not come out with that, with any such findings. Right. In any event, in 2023, when they went into the parliamentary primaries within the NPP, there were 10 contestants. 9 of the 10 were Christians. Bawumia was the only Muslim. If the NPP didn't like a Muslim to be our arrowhead, he would have been given a technical knockout. And yet, the votes of the 9 others they were matching, right? So he's too tall. So it's not true if anybody now wants to, by sheer contrivance, inject this as one of the reasons why we lost. The various inquiries into our performance did not bear this. The other one relating to the fact that he performed shambolically. He scored 41.7, and because of that, he should be jettisoned for another person. Again, it's not borne out by any fact. In 1992, when we first contested with the Dubois, we scored, Dubois secured 30%. And we in the party, of course, we argue that the performance did not reflect the numbers that have been given to us by the Electoral Commission, which is why we went out there to write the stolen verdict. So we disputed the 30% that had been assigned to us. Notwithstanding, for historical purposes, it is what stands in the name of the NPP in terms of our performance in 1992. When President Kufuor first came on board in 1996 and went into the contest, he obtained 39%. The party did not, jettison him, and we gave him another opportunity. And the deciding election, that is the rerun, Kufuor secured 56%. That's against Professor Mills' 43% point something, right? Yeah. So Kufuor was able to rise from 39% to obtain success, just the subsequent election. So when you say that the 41.7 is the worst performance, again, you have not really related to the data or the history of the party. You are just manufacturing that from your concocting that. So that is a palpable untruth. Then it was said that, the man couldn't win any election for us. We've heard that before. It was said our Akufo couldn't win when he secured 39. Akufo, he can't win any election for us. That people were saying that Akufo is Ashanti, and Konfanochi had proclaimed that no Ashanti should have power over and above that of Otumfuo. And so Akufo could never become no Ashanti could become the president of the country, right? And some people were saying that Akufo was timorous, it was too soft, right? And if you remember, Rawlings himself then entered the fray and said that Akufo could never become the president of the country. If he wants to sit on the presidential throne, he should go to Anwaga to have a throne carved out for him, and then he would take it home and sit on it and pretend to be the president of the republic. Just 4 years on, Akufo won the election from 39%. Akufo-Addo, it was said, the same thing was said about him. Akufo-Addo could never become the president. That Akufo-Addo had been, cursed, that he could never become the president. Some people were saying that Akufo-Addo was too much of, a troublemaker, and, is too rigid, and so on and so forth. Yet, he became the president of the republic. So people saying this, again, it has no, those things, people just bring them out. If you ask, what's the premise for saying this? It it's not based on any facts. Others were saying that, we didn't do well in the Bawku enclave. We didn't win any constituency there. And was saying that it should be attributed to Bawumia. And for as long as he remains our presidential candidate, the Bawku zone will not be any, it will be a no-go area for us. We can never win any seats. Again, what are the facts? What are the facts? You go back to 1979, when Victor Usu led our party, PFP. We didn't obtain any seats in the Bawku enclave. It was Kufo Emampusiman. Right.
Oh, Victor Usu.
Victor Usu?
Yeah, he wasn't Emampusi.
Victor Usu was 1979.
Yeah.
Kufo 1996.
Yes.
Even when Kufo was the president, in 1996 we had a seat in Bawku area. But people forget that Howard Kubu, who was there at the time, was an independent candidate. He was not MPP. It was when it was 2000 that she failed to contest the ticket of MPP. 2004, when we split up the constituency and she went to Pusiga, she lost the seat. Right? So 2004, when Kufo was the sitting president, we didn't obtain any seat in the Bawku enclave. Akufo-Addo also had the same thing. So how can you attribute it to Bawumia? We have seen this before. But the Bawku enclave is not our stronghold. And that's what happened. That is not to say that we should give up on Bawku. We're going to fight to reclaim some of the seats that we have won 2 seats there before. We're going to fight to ensure that we secure the seat, especially when it was said wrongfully that the conflict there could be attributed to the vice president at the time, right? No such thing. No such thing. So we're going to fight.
But those were what the electorate were telling you.
What?
That the issues you've raised now, and you've countered them.
Yes.
I'm saying those were issues that the electorate were telling you that these were the reasons why the MPP lost.
No, I'm saying that it didn't come from them. These were from latter-day, saints who tried to inject it into the fray. I'm saying that the findings did not bear that.
So what did the findings bear?
Well, you see, why we lost, the inquiries conducted in Ashanti came out with 4 main issues. One being external shocks that affected the country. The COVID-19, the Russian-Ukraine war, at the time when it happened, the immediacy of it and its effect on the economy. Then we had issues relating to the government and governance itself, right? So that was the second thing. And then the third was the party's own internal affairs, and fourthly, the conduct of the electioneering campaigns, the distribution of resources, and so on. These four main things, right, led to some anger within the electorate. The issues of governance, for instance, when we were affected by the external shocks and some decisions had to be taken to save the economy. Government at one time resorted to this DDEP, Domestic Debt Exchange Program, and then introduced this haircut. You know how many people were affected? Over 800,000 people were affected. We lost the election to the NDC and John Mahama. John Mahama won by 1.7 million. Now the 840,000 people who were domestic bond holders, assuming each person had one dependent, the number was almost 1.7 million that we lost. They were angry. They were angry. President Akufo-Addo said he was going to stake his presidency. He put it on the line in the fight against Galamsey. The Galamsey fight from a principal position was a very good thing. But the method employed in the fight, was it the best? Galamsey activities at the time was being engaged in by Ghanaians, right? Ghanaians, most of them MPP, NDC. So MPP people were involved, NDC people were involved. You went for their excavators, their bulldozers, and you bent them on site. The people will be angry against you, right? So whereas I agree that as a country we should have a policy to stop Galamsey, what we did, the method that we employed, I would say was not the best, right? And it affected our performance in the constituencies in the mining communities. Today, we have just two constituencies of Abuasi East and West that we are still holding. We have lost all the mining constituencies, right? So these were the things that came out. As for Bawumia, people blaming him, I would say that yes, there's a sense in people blaming him. Why? Because let's face it, if we had won, it would have been attributed to him that under his leadership we won. So if we fail and people accuse him that under his leadership we have lost, I will agree. But to put everything around his neck, especially these things that you have related to. His ethnicity, his religion, and Bawku, and those things. Those things are not, they are not factual.
But people say he was the head of the economic management team.
Yes.
Yet the economy went into shambles. And therefore, how will he go back to the electorate and say, I destroyed your economy, but still give me the chance, I'll make it better, when John Mahama is making it better?
First of all, you see, under our constitution, the president is the singular personality who is vested with executive authority. It's only the president. Ministers, committees are only advisory. That's what people should understand. So whereas he was the chairman of the Economic Management Committee, right, which has no legal foundation, right, their job is to advise the president. The broad contours of the economy, that's the Economic Management Team. Within cabinet, it's not even the Economic Management Team. Within cabinet, it's the Finance Committee. That's powerful. Why aren't people talking about the Finance Committee?
Who headed the Finance Committee?
The Finance Committee at the time of his presence in cabinet was Anancha Martin. And people are not even talking about him.
Oh, not the finance minister.
No, I'm saying that the finance committee.
Yes.
It was chaired. Cabinet finance committee was chaired by Ananja Martin. But again, that committee was advisory. That's the point I'm making. You see, any president, apart from the cabinet, also have some experts that you consult, some think tank behind him that you consult. So, if fancy the situation that the Economic Management Committee comes up with some proposal, the president says, "Okay, I've heard you." He consults his own backroom team, and they come out with different prognosis, right? And the president says that, "Okay, on balance, I think what I'm being told by my backroom group of experts is better than what these people are telling me." And he makes a choice. Can you fault the finance committee or the economic management team? You cannot. As for what went on in cabinet, look, we place a seal on our lips, so I will not certainly go into that, right? But I will tell you that the final decision-making body or person is the president.
How do you foresee Dr. Bawumia clawing back 1.7 million votes and winning in 2028?
President Mahama, as a sitting president, not a vice president, as a sitting president, lost by 1 million votes. And we thought that it was not going to be. We thought he had been buried under the avalanche of the votes that went against him. He survived, and he's now the president. A sitting president loses an election by over 1 million votes, right? He survived. It's clawed back the presidency.
It clawed back after 2 elections.
Kufuor managed 39%, swung back to win in the succeeding election.
Okay.
Right? So it is possible for Bawumia to win. You see, the Constitution of the Republic, in the preamble, expects any government to deliver on 3 key issues. One is deepening the liberties of Ghanaians, the rule of law. How is President Mahama faring in the area of the rule of law? The Constitution talks about creating equal opportunities in the preamble. All government should deliver on creating equal opportunities for all the citizens of this country. He'll be measured by that performance. The Constitution talks about the third thing is managing the economy in such a way as to deliver prosperity to the citizens and to the country. He'll be measured by that. So these are the 3 deliverables. People then will want to measure Mahama's administration against Akufo-Addo's, and maybe against what Bawumia would want to do if he's elected president. Okay. You measure him against his track record, his experience in governance, and so on, and his ingenuity, right? So you are looking at the vision of Bawumia against the vision espoused by the current administration. You're looking at the sheer competence of Bawumia against the performance of
whoever they will present.
Against whoever they will present. And because whoever they will present would also bear on the performance of the current administration. Okay. You know, it will be the two together. So the vision, the sheer competence, the experience in governance, the track record, the ingenuity, the character of whoever is coming on board against that of Bawumia. The humility of the person, the integrity of the person against that of Bawumia. These are things that Ghanaians are going to look for. These are the indices, the acid test that we are going to use on Bawumia and vis-a-vis whoever the NDC will be presenting. And I have no doubt in my mind. Of course, 3 years is a long distance in politics between now and 2028, right? But today, looking at those of them that people are talking about, if I should place all of them, that is any one of them, the same scale as Bawumia, I think that Bawumia will have a head start.
Mr. Danko has done it and Bawumia is losing against all of them. It says Mr. Danko has done it against the top, the people who've been mentioned to be flag bearers of the MDC. And
Mr. Danko said at Ayawaso East, he said he was going to win the election.
I mean, I was going to win. Haji, I mean, I was going to win.
What happened?
There are undertones.
Oh, what happened? So you see, I'm not downplaying whatever he says, but see, in politics, 3 years is too long a distance for you to predict that, oh, this is going to happen in 3 years. You're not being realistic, if I should be blunt. Because in politics, 1 week could even change anything. In politics, I remember President Carter in the U.S. The opinion poll suggested a month before his election that he was leading by 60%, his opponent by 60%. As the weeks and the days passed, his overwhelming margin of victory started declining. People started to know him better. He had been a governor of Georgia.
Yeah.
And yet, the polls continue to indicate that his percentage of the margin of victory was declining. To the extent that when the final week, it declined to 52%. In the final days, Jimmy Carter won, but he won by just, I think, 1.2%.
Okay.
So 3 years is too long a distance for any pollster worth his salt to say that I've predicted. That is not polling, that is prophecy. And I don't believe in these prophecies anyway.
But that would be dependent on whether Dr. Bawumia will be able to unite the NPP. From what is happening in the party, what must Dr. Bawumia do to unite this party? And can he really do it? If you look at the character of, or the stature of Kennedy Japan, Brian Achampon, Dr. Edichum, and Engineer Kwabena AJ Japan.
Well, it must begin from somewhere. It must begin from somewhere. And the good thing is that the other day, they were all on the same platform, and they all congratulated him for having won. And some of them have even gone to his house.
For the optics.
You are saying so. You are saying so for the optics. I would say that from the distance that I watched them, those of them that went there, I think I believe them that they were being honest. Information coming to me is that Ken is going there.
Okay.
But I moved from my house straight to this office to meet you. So I don't know whether it's happened.
Okay.
But it's I think it's a useful beginning for all of us. But we were in the fields. I was with Bawumia in the fields, in all the regions and the constituencies. It's only the Bawutu region and the Oti region that I couldn't accompany him because I lost a cousin and I had to attend the funeral, and also a nephew subsequently. So because of that, for about 7 days or so, I was with him when he went to OT and Volta. But all other regions I was with him, and I know what's happening in the field. I know there are petty conflicts. There are petty conflicts that we could easily resolve. Some of them, personality related. He's looking at the person he's supporting, and because of that, I'm not able to do this. Oh, this man is supporting you. I'm not on good terms with this man. So if this man is to the right, I will go left. I mean, these kind of petty issues, I think we can easily deal with them. But you see, every human being has some ego. You must go and have a chat with them to let them know that the MPP, even when we unite our forces, our own forces will not be able to deliver a victory for us.
Okay.
We are about 47% or so of the populace. The NDC is about 45% of the populace. So both us and the NDC will always require floating voters. You can't go to have floating voters come to your house if your own house is on fire. You must make your house attractive. You must make your party attractive. What it means is that we must really get our acts together to embark diligently on reconciliation, to be able to unite our forces behind the leader, which exercise we are going to begin in earnest as soon as possible.
But for people who don't want him to win, they would probably smile, but behind will not be confident.
You have that in every party.
Okay.
You think when John Mahama won the ticket of the NDC, everybody in the NDC liked him. You think so? There are people who think that they could be better performers, and that maybe they have their hope in this person who perhaps didn't show up to contest, right? Perhaps they went nudging the person to contest, he refused, or maybe the person came and was defeated, and they think that this is the wrong choice, and they will not really come fully on board, even though they may not vote against the NDC. Yet the NDC requires to have those people in the party. Just so the MPP. So yes, there are some people. You see, somebody may say that, oh, I don't think Bawumia can win for us, giving the performance the other time. So I think we should try another person, right? So a person follows another person, and that person doesn't make it. Bringing such a person back on board is not going to be difficult.
Okay.
But there are some people who step out and use very vitriolic and visceral language. That is their own problem. Because for them, and they may be strong advocates, for them, coming back to make a U-turn becomes equal for them.
Okay.
He may vote for the candidate ultimately because he has MPP blood in him. But then because of his own conduct, he finds it difficult to make a U-turn. That's where the problem is.
Okay.
And yet, we still need all of them. You still have to engage. I said, you know, it's difficult for you to make a U-turn. But paradoxically and ironically, we need you to come on board.
Okay.
Because every single vote matters. Right? Because apart from he himself, that person himself, there's another person or persons who are looking at him, looking at his activism in the party, and then coming on board. Once the person reclines, it becomes difficult to get them on board, which is why he must go and speak to that person in spite of himself or herself. It's the reason why you should go and speak to the person and get everybody on board, and we are going to be very intentional about that.
Let me just bring you to AMShow East and the NDC primaries that went on Saturday. Does it bring to the fore the discussion that it is now time for us to look at the delegate system of political parties?
I have always spoken to that. I've always spoken to that we should look at it, because that is what is, contributing to the excessive monetization of our politics. It's what is leading to that. And I began even soon after Dr. Bawumia's, not soon after, I think it was even before the conduct of elections. I was appealing to my party people that given where we are, if we go into excruciating battles in the selection of our parliamentary candidates, it may be suicidal. So I was saying that to the greatest extent possible, we should build consensus. That is constituency by constituency. This is case by case. But we should endeavor to build consensus, to have those of them in parliament now retained. That is, if the person has not done anything untoward in the constituency. If the person has engrossed himself, for instance, in chieftaincy disputes in the constituency, he brings the image of the party down. And it will be difficult for that person to be maintained or retained. Or maybe the person has engaged in some acts which, if those acts were known before his own election, he would not have been elected. Those are different scenarios. But short of that, given where we are, I was advocating that we should endeavor to build consensus, not impose anybody on anybody, but try to build consensus. I'm saying so because, see, I went up north with Dr. Bawumia, up north. All the constituencies that we are holding that we have lost were constituencies where the MPs had to go through battles. Their primaries. If they won in the general elections, we lost. If they lost to some other contestants in the general elections, we lost. There were constituencies that we had not won before, but we won for the first time from the NDC. And then people sitting somewhere then began to think that, oh, now that it's been won first time, it's now attractive. So let me go and contest the person who has won. We lost all those constituencies. In Central Region, we're holding 13 constituencies. Today we have 4. In all those constituencies where the MPs went through primaries, we lost. Are we learning any lessons? And it also contributes to excessive monetization. So the Ayawaso East experience should inform us, not just the NDC. I'm looking at what the NDC is going to do, what lessons they are going to learn, and going forward, what they intend to do with their primaries. They have many MPs in Parliament, so perhaps they may think that, well, if you lose a few, it wouldn't really matter. But it will matter in the long term. Okay. So I'm thinking in my party, for instance, that we should go the whole hog. Card-bearing members of the party in every constituency, apart from building consensus. If we have to vote, we should avail the opportunity to all card-bearing members in the constituency, of the party in the constituency. And if we did that, and my constituency, for instance, the registered voters list is about 110,000. From the 110,000, I guess you can get about 90,000 who are MPP supporters, sympathizers, members. As for the real membership, you may get about half of the 90,000, or maybe even if it's a third, about 31,000 registering in the constituency as party members. Who are you going to see to give your TNT to or your flash screen to? You can't afford. So that as part of that expansion, it will become history. The monetization will become history. Okay. Why is it that in the general and presidential elections, people don't think about going to, incentivize people to come and vote by going to give them 100 cities or 200 cities? You can't afford that. 30,000 people, 50,000 people, you can't afford. And to the extent that you are not able to do that, and so you don't even attempt to do that, if you expand the base, it will kill this excessive monetization.
You cannot expand to get them voting in the parliamentary primaries when your constitution specifies a delegate system.
And that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying talks to the constitution of the political parties, that they should then, in view of this, effect the relevant amendments to their constitution.
So are you calling for amendment before the primaries are held for the parliamentary?
It will be too close.
Okay.
It will be too close. But whatever the purpose that it will serve, I would think that we need to attend to it. Okay. We need to attend to it. The MPP needs to attend to it. The NDC needs to attend to it. I know the NDC attempted it some time ago. 2015. It didn't work out for them. But it was because of the timing. It's not because the system was bad. It was because of the timing. Don't forget, we were going to go into their primaries. Yeah. And then I think think 2 months or 3 months before the elections, they said they should go and register the NDC members in the constituency. Certainly, it was going to be a recipe for infiltration.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Okay.
If they start early, for instance, us in the MPP, we are down, right? The accounts have an adage. Right? Yeah. When you suffer bereavement, then you see, or affliction, then you see your real friends.
Yeah.
So in this stage, if we have to register our people, our members, you get it right.
Okay.
And of course, you see, if you are doing it diligently, the voters reside in various houses. If you go to every house in this country, the residents there know the political coloration of the residents. So they tell you that, oh, this man also register many people. You know that is NDC or his CPP. The MP people there will bear testimony to that. So you get it right. So if you start early, you get it right. And that is what I would suggest or propose to my party.
The president has recalled Baba Jamal as the High Commissioner to Nigeria because of this. The majority NDC in Parliament are also calling for the annulment of that particular vote or election. Are these moves well seated in terms of how to deal with the matter?
We should confront monetization head on. But I think that what the NDC is a signal to do, if they are sincere about it, in my view, will be a very bold initiative to confront this menace. It's not good for our democracy, and we should decapitate it in such a manner that it will not have any further procreation.
Okay.
So, if they are sincere about it, I would commend them, and that is why I said at the very outset that I want to watch how it will pan out, right? To see ultimately what they would intend to do if they want to have a rerun or whatever. I want to see what really happens. I understand they've chosen my good friend
Baba Jamal.
Fusaini Inusa.
Okay, yes.
To chair the committee, to do that. I know Fusaini is a very noble person. He will do what is right. So I don't want to prejudice whatever. I want to see what comes out of it before I make any comments.
But the OSP says it is investigating your elections as well, your primaries, and that of the NDC.
My primaries?
Yes. The one that elected Dr. Bawumia as flag bearer. He's investigating it for vote buying.
I don't like this kind of equalization. The OSP should be a man. It should be principled. We had this election a week ago.
Yeah.
So if anything untoward happened, you should immediately come out to say that these are some observations that have come to you. We want to investigate it. Right? You wait until it happens in the NDC. They've done this. Okay, I'm going to hold the NDC responsible, and at the same time, I'm going to do this. What is that? Are we in a regime of equalization? Or you think that if you do so to the NDC, questions then become, but we heard this also went on in MPP. Why aren't you acting, or why haven't you acted? So let me hold the two together. To me, that is not right. I'm not saying that if anything went wrong, I want to investigate. It may be wrong. I'm saying that it should show greater independence and determination.
Okay.
Rather than wait for something to happen. I want to delve into it, but before I delve into this, I'm told this doesn't happen. I want to do the two together. I mean, what is that? It's not the best.
I'm grateful to you, sir.
Thank you once again for having me.
So that's Mr. Osei Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, who has shared with us his thought on parliamentary issues, national issues, and politics as well. Let's hear from you, your comments on our social media handles. But do stay on to this channel.